Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and in this video I will be going over the new 4K Blu-ray pre-orders and announcements for June 23rd, 2023. Keep in mind, release dates and technical specs are subject to change. If there are any changes or additional retailer exclusives, I will update them in a future video. Also, be sure to check out my previous 4K pre-order videos for titles you may be looking for and were not covered here. Direct Amazon links to the titles listed in this video when they are live can be found on the channel's community page. The latest from the Marvel Cinematic Universe will be arriving on 4K August 1st, as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be making its physical copy debut. It will support HDR and Dolby Atmos for the audio, and the slipcover edition should be available locally and at various online retailers. As for exclusives, right now we only have the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook edition, which will of course be available over at that retailer. Their pre-order listing has not yet gone live. I expect that to happen as early as maybe today. And as far as other exclusives go, I fully expect to see a Walmart, which has not yet been revealed, and possibly a Target one. Any additional retailer exclusives that come live, I'll update probably in next week's video. And don't forget, you could pick this one up on August 1st. Kino Lorber announced that Staying Alive, which I keep forgetting was directed by Sylvester Stallone, will be coming to 4K, and the release date is August 29th. HDR and Dolby Vision have been confirmed, and DTS audio. Also coming out on the same day, the spy thriller 3 Days of the Condor from Kino Lorber will also be making its debut. HDR and Dolby Vision and DTS audio have been confirmed for the specs. The Battlestar Galactica film from Universal, which was originally slated for a July release, has now been given a new date of August 29th. Just as a reminder, a slipcover edition and a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, both are currently up for pre-order right now. It looks like retailer listings are starting to show that Paramount's release of Sleepy Hollow on 4K is scheduled to arrive on September 5th. While we don't have any official tech specs, I believe HDR and Dolby Vision are pretty much going to be a lock considering their past history of catalog releases, and we don't know yet about the audio, but as soon as we get original cover art and specs, I will update that in a future video. On September 26th, Sony will have the sequel I Still Know What You Did Last Summer arriving on 4K just in time for its 25th anniversary. It will support HDR and Dolby Vision and a new Dolby Atmos audio. Some Shout Factory Scream Factory September releases are starting to leak, and it looks like both Pumpkinhead and Night of the Demons will be arriving sometime in the month of September. I fully expect to see HDR and Dolby Vision, no word yet on any of the audio, but probably some of the original tracks included. I expect Shout Factory's September release slate officially announced probably any day now, so stay tuned to the channel when that information becomes available. According to early retailer listings, it looks like Universal is prepping a very heavy 4K release schedule for the month of October, so let's get started. It appears that a 4K edition of the classic sci-fi film It Came from Outer Space will be arriving on October 3rd. Also arriving on the same day, it looks like the individual releases from the Universal Classics Monsters Collection Volume 2 will be out for collectors. So expect to see individual titles of Phantom of the Opera, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I know this one's going to annoy a lot of people that picked up the Blu-ray on its initial release, as the 4K edition of Megan will be arriving October 10th. It is expected to include the extended cut as well as the theatrical version, both in 4K, and HDR and Dolby Atmos for the audio. Now, take this as a sign, everybody. When it comes to Universal releases that are only getting Blu-rays, maybe hedge your bets that a 4K release will be coming down the line, either from Universal or other boutique labels. So I would fully expect to see something like Cocaine Bear and Violent Night and other titles that only got Blu-ray editions. So, just keep that in mind going forward. And lastly, from Universal, on October 31st, it looks like Volume 3 of the Alfred Hitchcock collection will be arriving both in a collection and in individual titles. The 5 movies included in this set are Frenzy, Rope, Topaz, Torn Curtain, and my favorite from this collection, The Man Who Knew Too Much. When I get official artwork from both the collection and the individual releases, stay tuned to the channel. I will include them in a future video. Severin announced on their Facebook page that a 4K edition of the last horror film will be arriving sometime in the near future. It is confirmed from them on Facebook that it will include HDR and Dolby Vision for the grading. Kino Lorber announced this week that a 4K edition of Lost in Translation will be arriving sometime in the near future. HDR and Dolby Vision have been confirmed for the grading and DTS audio. This is definitely a Blu-ray that needed a 4K upgrade desperately because it's looking kind of rough, so I'm pretty excited to check this one out whenever Kino decides to announce a release date. There are a few international 4K releases and announcements to go over in this week's video, and don't forget, most 4K discs are region-free, so feel free to import them. Arriving sometime this past week, a 4K edition of the film Millennium Mambo will be arriving in French markets. HDR and Dolby Vision have been confirmed, and I actually read the description of this one. It looks pretty interesting, so I may consider importing it. Second Sight announced that on August 28th, a 4K edition of It Follows will be arriving as both a limited edition and standard version. HDR and Dolby Vision have been confirmed, as well as a Dolby Atmos audio. This is currently up for pre-order at UK retailers. Also coming out the same day, Second Sight announced that a limited edition of Crimes of the Future will be arriving on 4K. Now, they're being a little vague if this is going to have the same transfer as the one that was released here in the States, which that one had HDR and Dolby Vision and DTS 5.1. No word yet if this is a new transfer or upgraded audio, but if and when that changes, I will update that information in a future video. Over in Germany, it looks like Turbine is going to be releasing 4K editions of many films such as Black Phone, Infinity Pool, Pearl, and Renfield. Now, we don't have official release dates on these, but I expect HDR, Dolby Vision, and they also hinted that Dolby Atmos audio will be included. Now, going back to what I was talking about with Universal, both Renfield and Black Phone are, at least here in the States, Universal releases, so I expect these two to make their way to 4K in the States sometime, probably sooner rather than later. Infinity Pool is also getting a domestic US release, and I believe A24 handles the distribution for Pearl. I think we all expect a 4K edition to come at least sometime in the future for that one as well. So if you're in Germany, you can definitely pick these up. And once again, Turbine will be releasing these sometime in the near future. So those are this week's 4K pre-orders and announcements for June 23rd, 2023. Don't forget to use the Amazon affiliate links on the channel's community page if you're interested in any of the titles. It really helps out the channel when you do. Also, be sure to let me know what titles I listed in this video you're planning to pick up for yourself. And finally, a special thank you to my Patreons. Your continued support is very much appreciated. If you'd like to support me through Patreon, I will leave a link in the description of this video. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.